This one hack can genuinely take your English language grade from a 4 to a 9. And that is pre-writing out your creative writing. Now, I'm going to give you in this video the 3 steps of how you can do it so you can literally guarantee yourself something that's worth 50% of the paper, a grade 9. And it doesn't matter what grade you're starting at, anybody can pre-write it out and get that grade in the exam. So the first thing you do is you want to have a criteria of exactly what you need to include in it, so then of course you can get a grade 9. So what you want to do is you want to have a criteria of the language and structure techniques that you want to be putting in. So just like how we analyze and we pick them out, we want to then be listing them out so we know what to include. So for example, for structure, we'd have something like a cyclical structure, which is when it begins, how it ends. We would vary our paragraph lengths. For language, for example, we would have our 5 senses. So what we see, touch, taste, smell, and hear. We might also have oxymoron. So what we actually do for you on the Lightup Hub, we give you the full list of all the language and structure techniques that you must include to get that grade 9. And the reason being, in the mark scheme, there are actually specific marks awarded for using a range of techniques, and that's why we basically give them for you already. And number 2 is you want to have a structure for your creative writing. So you'll notice this is quite like how we approach literature, right? We'll have our techniques, we'll have our structure, and it's really important to have a structure for creative writing too, especially if it's not something you're naturally very good at. So just like we have Peel or Peta Etical if you're a Lightup Hub member or you watch the channel, we also have a rough creative writing structure as well. So the one that we've actually created and recommend starts like this. It starts with a short sentence, which will repeat it at the end, which of course is our cyclical structure, a 5-sentence paragraph using semicolons throughout, a short sentence again from the beginning but slightly different, a paragraph using simile and a list. And that's just probably about a third of the structure. And then we have the full structure on the Lightup Hub done for you. Then a model example to show you how to use it. So you can kind of see there, that gives you a good framework of what to include, but it also ticks off all the techniques that you need to include as well. So the language and structure techniques, what you want to make sure you do is you tick it all off, and that's just a structure to help you write it up. And because you won't be having to write it up in the exam, because we will be adapting it, again, another skill that we go through, it just means that you can pre-write it up, remember it, and then just adapt it, and then you tick off all the different things in terms of structure and language. And you know me, I absolutely love a good structure. And then number 3 is you want to either write a hot or cold setting. Now, the reason I say hot or cold setting is because it's quite easy to then adapt in the exam. Now, a lot of you will probably be like, what? I can pre-learn my piece of creative writing, but it's not going to match the photo. Right. Let me just tell you a little something, right? A little insight, a little hack, if you will. It says in not one mark scheme, not one exam board, that you have to write about the photo. However, of course, we still need to make some kind of link to the photo. That's why we show you how to adapt it. It doesn't actually state that you get awarded marks based on how well you've actually described or created a piece of writing on the photo. That's why choosing a hot or cold setting is really good, because it means you can adapt it. Say, for example, you get a photo that's cold, you could just like pretend that you want to be there if you describe somewhere hot. But if you did want me to do a bit of a video on how to adapt it, do comment below and I can definitely make something like that. What we've done is we've got our techniques, we've got our structure. Now we want to choose if we're writing up a hot or cold setting, completely up to you, you can decide. Then what you want to do is you want to pair that with some up-leveled vocab that you're going to use, because now you know you're going to be describing somewhere hot or cold. You want to kind of get some vocab and some phrases that you're going to put in among your structure and techniques that's going to help you get that grade 9. So for example, if we go on the creative writing vocab sheet on the Lightup Hub, I'll just put a little screenshot here for you. We've got example, different bits of creative writing vocab for the 5 senses, for the weather, for feelings, for loads of different things. So you can just grab those and put it in your creative writing. But for example, I just put on the screen here a little table of the 5 senses, and I've just picked out one from each. Obviously we have loads on the Lightup Hub, but I've just given you one. So what I'd go through is I'd be then, okay, like I'm gonna use ambrosial for taste when I'm describing something in my 5 senses paragraph. I'm gonna use cascading when I talk about when I'm seeing something. And just by having these bank of words that you're gonna use, then you can try to put them into your creative writing and it will instantly up-level your vocabulary. Because what so many of you struggle with is picking out all the techniques and having them in there, but also having that vocabulary. But if you can pick it out ahead of time and then put it in, and then you can create a piece of creative writing, it's so much easier. And a little top tip as well for creative writing, what is super helpful is if you can go and look at model examples. So if you get the chance, again, if you're a Lightup Hub member, we already have them. We have like hot and cold setting descriptions already done with the structures to show you what it looks like. But it's super helpful for you to actually model what a grade 9 looks like, because then when you are writing up your own piece of creative creative writing, you can kind of see how things are phrased and how it's structured, how big are the paragraphs, how long are the sentence lengths, and then you can try and mirror that. I'm not saying to copy it, but it's always good to kind of see a model example of what you should be aspiring for, because it makes it a lot easier to write. So they're my top tip, guys. If you did enjoy this video, please make sure to subscribe, because it helps the channel more than you can know. And I will link a video just here for you, which will help you with your revision.